Hello, welcome to Activating Magic. I'm here with Filip Sardi. Welcome. I'm so excited to talk with you. I already introduced you, but tell people a little bit about what brought you to your work helping people with fabulous group programs.
Okay, so at first I was actually helping them, but I wasn't helping them get better results. I was helping my audience get more leads and get more sales. And I was
Mm,
actually very good at it, but it wasn't fulfilling work. And it took
mm,
me almost a decade to kind of listen to myself and to acknowledge my intuition to kind of tap into what really drove me and the fact that I wanted to make longer lasting legacy with my work as well, not just in terms of financial metrics, uncovered the today's client flow brand and the tagline, when your clients win, your business wins. And what I feel like it's a movement, and not a business anymore.
mm. So, helping clients get leads, everybody wants that. So, I'm imagining that that was not an easy decision. Like, people
Oh,
want to pay for leads. Tell me a little
yeah.
bit more about that.
Oh, that was a very scary decision, actually. And one I was afraid to make for years because you were exactly right. People always want more leads, they want more sales. And when I first got the idea of approaching my existing clients, actually saying, hey, maybe we should focus more on the clients we just got you and help them stay longer. I was like, no, 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 Philip, we got that part covered. Let's just
Mm,
focus on the next launch. Let's just get bigger results, bigger metrics, and all that stuff. So yeah, it was very scary, and it kind of delayed my decision and my intuition for, I think it's like 4 years before I decided to just like dive in, whatever happens.
wow. What was it? What was going on for you that, you know, your intuition was saying serve the clients that you already have? So I think in our space, it can be really common that people who are really good marketers make a lot of money, but maybe they don't follow through with the service. And then people feel a little jaded. They don't trust quite as much to invest in the next thing. And yet that works really well. So, like, what was going on inside of you that as you were noticing this with your clients, or what were you noticing?
Well, for me, I was getting a bit frustrated, to be honest, because I was really good at being launch strategist and managing launch campaigns and launch teams. And I mean, I was working with great clients as well, and they really cared about people who they were selling to. But at the same time, when you do the big numbers and when your business is scaling, I can understand the big vision that entrepreneurs have. And we didn't end current launch, and they were already saying, "Hey, Philip, what the next one's gonna look like." And it just kept on repeating for years. And when COVID hit, everything exploded in the online world, and 2020 was the biggest year for my business, but also for most of my clients because we were just doing these amazing launches. But at the same time, that was the year when I was totally burnout and where I
Mm,
didn't see any more purpose in doing like what I was doing for the past like 7 or 8 years. And that
mm,
was one of the biggest triggers, at least for me.
yeah. What happened in 2020 then for you?
So we finished 2020 strong. Everybody were happy except me, and I felt totally empty in 2021. And there was this one thing, one voice in my mind saying, "Okay, I don't want to do this anymore." Like a little kid when he doesn't want to go to, I don't know, kindergarten anymore. And I was just like, I was done with it, and I didn't know what was the alternative. And for me, the alternative, I knew step into it, but I tried. So that was the point where I reached out to my existing clients and said, "Hey guys, I want to tap more into, retention and what happens after people say yes. I have this amazing framework that works because I already used it in your businesses without telling you because I was kind of tying it to my, yeah, I was tying it to my service without charging for it, but at least we did the onboarding and like initial parts of the framework. But I still got rejected and I took it very personally. And after like not even 6 months of trying, I decided it's not the safe bet for me. It's too risky because nobody wants client success. And at the time, I was just like focused on more client success, more client success. And Then honestly, by the end of 2021, I just took a break and escaped to my tropical paradise, Koh Phangan in Thailand, and stayed there for a couple of months just to reset. For the first time ever, I did nothing for 2 months and just
Wow.
like did yoga and some like spiritual stuff. And this really helped me, and it didn't help me at the same time.
Mm. Oh, interesting. Okay. You took yourself on retreat, but it sounds like it was unstructured.
Yeah, yeah. Because again, the only thing I knew was, okay, the stuff that I'm trying to do, uh, I can't do it. Nobody wants it, so nobody wants me. The stuff that I'm good at, I don't want to do anymore, so I don't know what to do.
Mm.
And I didn't have it in me at that point yet to say, screw it, I'm gonna do it anyway because I really feel that I need to do it. And in a way, I chose the easier path. After coming back from Thailand back to Croatia, where I kind of uh, I'm from Croatia, but I was traveling a lot. But that period I was spending more time in Croatia, I noticed that, hey, people in Croatia have started doing online stuff. We have some basic entrepreneurship, and it's easy for me because I've been through this. Like I'm the veteran in this business, so I'm gonna try
Mm.
and help Croatian entrepreneurs because this is like easy, like teaching ABC and
Yeah.
basic math to beginners, and it was.
Mm. So I kind of want to go back to Thailand. So you took this time off.
Okay.
It was good for you, but also not good for you. Can you say more about
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, because the more I got disconnected from, my business and from my business results, the more I learned that I don't know who I am and what I want personally.
Yeah.
Because for the most of my professional career, I was looking at my self-value and my self-worth through my business, like business prism. So if
Mhm.
everything was going great, if launches were great, I was amazing. If not, then something was wrong with
Yeah.
me. And nothing was happening in business because I took a break from on purpose. So I started questioning myself. And I'm like, okay, what am I doing with my life? And for the first time, I didn't know what to do next.
That makes sense. So did you do all that without a coach or a
Yeah,
mentor or
yeah.
okay, you just went.
That was really like the period where I didn't want to because up till that like until that point I was paying for business mentors, for mindset coaches, I was doing the work like I was supposed to do
Yeah.
the work, and I felt like nothing was helping because I wasn't happy with the business nor with where I was personally.
Yeah. So you went back kind of to what was safe.
Yeah.
Did you feel like you had a breakthrough at all in Thailand around being able to not be so identified with your work?
Yes, I thought I
Or
had
did
it.
that come later?
But that came later. I thought I had it,
Okay.
and I thought I had it like, okay, my idea was, oh, I don't have to be in the big arena. I can be in a small pond. In a way, I can
Mhm.
run a business here and be happy here and not. I kind of misplaced with my big vision
Mm.
with the greed and the like huge appetites, but that wasn't the case. I learned it later, but I was like, okay, I can do it like in a small pond, region is big enough, there is more than enough clients and people, so
Yeah.
I'll be happy here. And I kind of, I don't know, I learned later like dim nine light and my like inner motivation and yeah, like I tried. I ran for the past 2.5 years. I ran this project and it's growing and it was growing and we're getting like hundreds of clients, and again people are getting results, but I wasn't happy, so again something was
Mm.
wrong for the second time. So yeah, I kind of looked for help at that point.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds like you really proved to yourself that getting leads and helping businesses in that way was not soul aligned for you.
Exactly, that was the final thing. Getting leads and clients and doing like the launches did nothing for me.
Mm. Okay, so tell us what happens next. On the edge of my
Okay.
seat.
Yeah, yeah. So that was like it was very interesting because we're getting close to the timeline where we met for the first time. Because,
Mm.
by the end of 2022, I launched this regional project called Lansiraj, which is in Croatian verb for launch it. So helping entrepreneurs launch their businesses. And for the most of 2023, things are developing. You know, when the project is fresh, you have this fresh energy and all that stuff. But for the first time, I went back to the global market. It was Ron Reich's mastermind in Colombia. I felt like, oh my God, I'm missing, like I was among my people, how I call them. And I
Yeah.
felt like I missed that. I missed that soul alignment. I missed that energy because you know Ron, and he really draws really quality and energy aligned people, and I haven't felt that for years. And I
Yes.
felt like, okay, something is here. I don't know what yet. I'm gonna go back to Croatia and figure out. When I came back to Croatia, it was gone. And I
Mm,
was hooked. I was like, okay, when was the next retreat? Next retreat was in Costa Rica, the small one, and I went with a couple of friends, and I felt it again. And I went back
mm,
to Croatia, and it didn't work. And then the third time, I met you in San Antonio on the mini conference, let's call it like that.
mhm.
And this is where I had like heart-to-heart conversation with Ron as well, and some other people. And I said like, look, guys, something's not working. Like, okay, I have this project that's growing in Croatia, but I'm not feeling so aligned, and I'm feeling like I'm
Yeah.
pushing stuff that really needs to come out, that wants to come out, but something's not right. And
Mm.
then like slowly, let's call it the reawakening started.
Well, you know, I'm a fan of retreats. Like getting in a room with like-minded, like-hearted people is so powerful. And so I love that that's part of the journey. Um, what is there something that clicked for you that empowered you to trust your desire to help with retention and systems and
Mhm.
making people's programs better?
It did. Uh, it took me a bit more to realize that because, you know, I was telling myself, okay, I'm gonna go back, you know, following my light and following my intuition. But at the same time, I was always going back to the safe harbor, at least it looked like. And the big shift actually was physical. And I think it had to happen. I had it like my gallbladder burst in the
Oh,
beginning of
wow.
20, yeah,
Yeah.
2024. And that was really like the emergency type of deal. And I was maybe like hours from sepsis. And later on, I realized that I was suppressing so many feelings and emotions and energy, like deep inside, that I really believe that at one point, like the body and everything that inside me was like, okay, you're not listening to the message. Okay, now we're getting physical. This is it. And that
Yes.
was like the big one. That was really the big one.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long were you in the hospital?
So I was in the hospital for like just 5, 6 days because they caught it really like in last minute in time. But it took me like a couple of months to recover, and those couple of months were the, let's call it, when I
Mm.
finally started listening to myself and letting out all the suppressed emotions and everything that really had to came out. And actually, my let's call it teacher and my guide was a book. And it
Mm.
was for the first time I didn't hire a coach. I stumbled upon a book, and basically I was just like mind blown because I've been going through the process of Michael Brown's, uh, oh my God, what's the name of the book?
We need to
I
know
have like,
this book.
we need to know. Okay. Oh my God, I've been through the process 2 times, but I'm blocked now. Okay, so this is commercial break.
We can Google.
Oh, the presence process. Oh my God. The presence process. Yes, it was a 10 week, it
Mm.
was a 10 week process, like weekly mantras and meditations, where I really, for the first time, and that was happening in the last August, I really let everything that was supposed to come out. And
Mm.
I was just with myself because, you know, after the operation and all that, I wasn't getting better. I felt that I need to change something, but still, you know, the mind was too strong. Oh, and I was getting like worse and worse and worse. And you know, when you stumble upon a book that really kind of, it's like a place and time for that specific book, I
Yes.
noticed the presence process, and it was okay. I started listening, I started going through the process and like peeling off the layers of an onion week by week by week. And
Mhm.
like on week 3 and 4, I broke down. I was crying for days. I never did that. I didn't know what was happening to me, but then I started like feeling, okay, all these things and all this stuff is just coming out, coming out, coming out. And at the bottom of everything was, okay, you're suppressing yourself. You're suppressing yourself because, you have to prove yourself to others. You have to prove that you can make it on, your original market. And it has to be big. It has to be best. You have to do this and this, all the materialistical things. And in the end, it's nothing that I really wanted. And it was so freeing, but scaring at this, like scary at the same time, because I was like, okay, am I really back at the beginning where I have to start over because nothing makes sense anymore?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I relate to that because I've been at the beginning in this last year too.
Okay.
Before COVID, I was teaching retreat leaders how to run profitable, powerful, transformational retreats. And then I stopped that during COVID because obviously we weren't retreating and I wasn't a big fan of
Yeah.
the virtual retreat world. And so I built a whole certification and I was training people in how to facilitate the deep transformation. So I definitely want to ask you more about the feeling your feelings, right? Because I came
Yeah.
up in the mindset world, which is a lot up here.
Hmm.
And not that there weren't feelings, but like it's very much was focused on let's just get over the mindset block so you can keep achieving. And
Yeah.
there wasn't a lot of like time and space to feel the feelings. So I I'm a big believer in that. I'm a big believer in holding that presence with the truth that's been hidden from our view until now. And so I love that. So anyway, I was training people in that all through COVID, and then everything kind of stopped working. So that seems to be what happens for me. So you had the health thing. I just
Mhm.
have, when I need to do something different, it stops working. So I've been totally going back and taking everything I've learned and rebuilding everything. So right with you. And I know
Okay,
that feeling of
there we
like,
are.
I should know more and, not have to do this. But every time I remind myself, you're basically building a new business from scratch, then it feels a lot better.
Okay, but my question for you. So I have a question
Yes.
for you that's gonna
Okay.
help me in a way. So how do you um, how do you manage this? Even though you have the experience, you're building from scratch. You know that you can do it. You have the expertise,
Mhm.
but there is still this uncertainty. Where you just have
Yeah.
to kind of trust that things that have to happen will happen, and that they will happen exactly like they need to. Do you have any special like methods,
Oh, it's a
thoughts?
great question. The first thing I would say is, one of the tools that I developed during the COVID season to help people trust themselves is your sourced magic type. And so that's really how your divine guidance speaks to you.
Okay.
And so I would recommend it's different based on what your type is, but spending time in your magic because when you're really connected to that soul knowing or that divine
Mhm.
guidance, the confidence is always there. Or you'll get redirected, right? You trust that you'll get redirected if it's not in true alignment. So for me, I go a lot to the body. I call that sensation magic and really feel, is there any place in my body where I'm feeling tight or
Mhm.
um like I move the energy in my body and then it magically restores confidence. That's what I
That's
would
incredible.
say. And, it's like one, I've built it before and I know a
Yeah.
lot of things. And then I know I'm being called to build differently,
Mhm.
right? Like there are maybe things that I learned early on as best practices from mentors who maybe I've outgrown that or the market
Mhm.
shifted. I mean, I feel a sense of like, oh, I've outgrown some of this stuff. So I'm now inventing in a new way. And it can be scary, right? There can be moments of like, okay, I could be crazy, but I know I've been there before. So,
That's why I'm asking. That's why exactly why I'm asking you, because sometimes like think to myself, we all know this is so important, the retention and really
yeah.
transformation and helping your clients now more than ever. AI and all that stuff. It's not just like the tagline anymore. It's really happening, and it's
Yes.
happening like at a light speed. So this is gonna be the main thing that makes a difference. But at the same time, people are not paying attention. So sometimes I ask myself, okay, am I doing something wrong? Am I invisible, or what's happening? Like, do I need to tune myself in a different way? But then I recalibrate as well, similar to you, because I have like heart and stomach type thing where I feel
Uh-huh.
like if everything is going in the right direction, if it flows nicely, I'm like, no, 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 all is fine, just keep on going.
Mhm. Here's the other thing that I would say. So I teach something called the anatomy of a transformation. And in the middle of the anatomy is this receiving of truth. It's like if we're misaligned, we will get the lesson. And I think taking ourselves on retreat is a good place to
Oh yeah.
like check for alignment. So I think that's the best. And we have to be all in and trust that if we get the lesson, we can handle it. So in other words, you got the physical lesson and then you use that to grow. When we're
Mhm.
sitting here going like, am I doing it right? Am I doing it right? We have to go all in and trust like the divine, if we need a little reorientation,
Mhm.
ask for it to come gently, but we'll get it.
Okay, that
Yeah.
that really makes, yeah, that makes perfect sense, because
Yeah.
just recently I had a moment where I was like, okay, maybe I should devote 10% of my energy on like the safe option. Just
Mm.
just just to be safe if I don't know, this doesn't work out, but I got redirected really, really fast back into like either you're all in or you're not.
How did that happen? How did the redirection happen?
Oh, so I tried kind of putting together a specific offer for local market, and it totally bombed. Like it's
Uh-huh.
totally bombed. It never happened to me before. I always get a response
Yeah.
because like I know my audience, they love me, but that was really like the sign, okay, no, this is a stop. This is not the way we should go. Go back. And at least I saw it that way. And I'm disregarding the marketing, the tactics, and the strategies because I don't
Mhm.
know. I believe I know that local audience, but yeah,
Right,
this was the first time it happened like that.
right. And you don't want to spend a bunch of time refining the thing that's not really what you want to do.
Exactly. That was the feedback I got back. So then I asked someone who I believe is way wiser than me, and I asked them, okay, this is what's happening, this is what happened. And the response was simple. Do you really want to keep on growing something that you're not enjoying even more? That's not your soul's purpose. And that's just here to prove a point that you can maybe make it. And then the response on my side was like, there is no other way. There is no other option.
I think like you mentioned with AI and, living here in the US, like things are a little crazy at the moment.
Yeah.
Um, People, I believe, they'll feel the resonance and the knowing, right? Like so many people's launches aren't going as well as they
Yep.
were based on having good catchy marketing. And um, one of the people I study with talks about how we've gotten to the place where we're so saturated in message escalation, right? Where like the claims are getting crazy
Yeah.
and that we're resetting. And so what I hear is you're coming from a place of what people really need, what works. That's the other thing I keep reminding myself. I know people benefit tremendously from going on retreat. It's what we need, it's what works, it makes a difference. So I hear that in what you're sharing too.
Yeah, I'm sold. For example, on retreats, I know that they need to be like one of the cornerstones of my business because long term I really believe this is something that's gonna integrate the entire like hybrid experience, but we need to keep that like personal touch.
Yeah.
And you've heard me like 3 retreats, 4 retreats I've mentioned, they all they all help me more or
Yes,
less, but they all help me more than any like online Zoom conversation in the past couple of years.
exactly. Exactly. So I want to ask more about feeling the feelings. And I also want to say one other
Okay.
thing, because I love that we're having this conversation and thank you for sharing where you are. And I think the other thing that makes me feel confident is having conversations like this And there are so many people I've met from getting in the room and being with people
Yeah.
in the last year who are aligned, are heart-centered, are building with integrity, and are really genuinely referring one another and having conversations like this and reaching new audiences. And I
Exactly.
think just keep showing up and being authentic. And this is for anybody listening. I really feel, for me, the world of affiliate marketing is becoming much more authentic, much less
Mhm.
transactional.
And to add on to that, for example, when I was thinking to myself, okay, you know all these strategies, tactics,
Mhm.
you're building a new business, what is the right one to use? And for me, for example, on top of referral partnerships and affiliate marketing, because I feel it's like deeper human connection, are guest podcasting. And the goal that I
Uh,
set for myself is like, okay, I'm gonna go out there and just spread the message. And the goal is to get on 50 podcasts. And thank you for helping me
yes,
reach this goal, 50 podcasts in 2025, because people really need to hear this, and maybe this is the media where we get to have a longer, deeper conversation, longer than like 60-second reel where you don't have a
yeah,
chance to like share the real depth of what's happening and the transitions that are happening. So yeah, anyone listening that, I think that's also a great strategy or tactic or way for you to grow authentically, especially if you're heart driven and you've always been repulsed by the classical, marketing bro approaches and stuff that worked in the past. Because I don't know what you think, how you think about it, but all those guys are now really in trouble because that stuff's not working anymore. And
yeah,
I don't care about like them. I care about just like that we are kind of leveling the grounds. And even though it's saturated and harder for people to get noticed because there is more people offering services, I feel like the people with the right approach and the right values and client results will get the benefits of like long-term business.
yes, yes. So let's talk a little bit about that. I'm going to come back to your presence process, but let's talk
Okay.
about the results. So your what do you see that a lot of business owners miss when they're delivering programs that if they just would pay attention to some different things, their clients would get better results?
Okay. So the biggest thing is instead of expecting people to wait until getting to that one big outcome that they've promised when selling, they need to have a clear path of micro mini wins that they're celebrating with their clients, picking up the momentum, building, the resilience and building the positive vibe, because then the final outcome is way more certain. And at the same time, if you know the mini milestones in your program or part of your transformation, you also get to see where the clients are fading out and where you can get them back in. Because now more than ever, we need to pay close attention to the entire client journey, not just the final part. I think that's the biggest one at the moment.
So do you see a lot of people do lose clients along the way and they don't know why
Yes.
or
Yeah.
where? Or...
Yeah, because they say, I'm I know that I'm a good, let's say, I know that I'm a good coach. I have testimonials.
Mhm.
Clients love me, but for some reason, like a big percentage, don't get like until like up to the end of the program. Because before it was the metric was program completion rate. So if you watched all the videos and downloaded all the worksheet materials, but that doesn't cut it anymore because we are not in a consumption business, we're in a transformation business.
Right,
And with ChatGPT, you don't need to buy information anymore. You can just
right.
write it down and it can like replicate the entire course in a matter of minutes. So the information itself is becoming obsolete in that way. But if you tie
Mm,
it to your transformation, to your framework, to your expertise, to your brand, then matters. But then it has to be journey that makes sense where people are supported on.
mm. I'm coming back to the idea of magic, or for
Okay.
me, magic is trusting yourself because you know you're divinely guided. Um, when you work with your clients and you're kind of looking at the program, how does your magic help them know what to change? Like, is there a special sauce that shows up where you're like, oh, this person is totally missing this, or this person needs to change this thing? Like, how does that work for you?
So I basically just give them a structural lens how to look at their client journey through
Mhm.
based on like four important milestones. And then when they just pay attention to what's happening when people join during the activation phase and onboarding, we can easily notice who drops off. Or
Mhm.
when they have to learn and go through actual materials, what happens when materials are too long and when people kind of give too many bonuses and stuff like that, where people drop off. What
Mhm.
happens at the implementation phase or in the end when we are at the big finish celebration when the program is over? Because, for example, a lot of clients aren't done yet. And basically what you need to do is just
Yeah.
have a simple conversation with them at the end of the program. Hey, here are the next steps. And I have an option for you if you want to stay longer, even if you like upsell them for, I don't know, 30% of the regular fee, they'll gladly pay because they just didn't have enough time to finish. But if you don't have anything for them in the end, and if you just like, oh,
Mhm.
it's done, that's it. And those are like the small changes and tweaks, just like how they can look at those different like important milestones that make huge difference in success rates and in retention.
Do you ever find people resistant to doing that, to making the change?
Yes,
What do you think that's
because
about? What are the reasons people resist making their programs better like that?
because that's at least my opinion. It's like, okay, their self-value is connected to the curriculum, and someone coming from the outside
Hmm.
thinking they know better than themselves how to
Mhm.
deliver transformation,
Mhm.
it kind of backfires. But the thing is, I'm not even talking about your skills and the top level, which is your
Mhm.
magic on how you get results to your clients. I'm just talking about the journey and the experience,
Right.
and that's it. But then as we talk through, and then they understand. But in like first impression can be that, so I have to kind of be gentle about it and not saying,
Mhm.
hey, your program sucks. It's not about the program. It's just like how people go through the steps.
Yeah. And probably the person who's really good at marketing and selling it might not be as good at structuring the program.
That's very often the case because in the
Yeah.
past, marketers were reliant on the fact that, hey, I know how to get people in. So even if I lose 90% of my people, I know the math, I can get more
Yeah.
in, so I'm always above the water. But that's not
Right.
the math isn't there anymore, so they're in trouble. So people who are not open to it, they keep
Mhm.
on shifting to, okay, I'll just find a different marketing tactic, different social
Mhm.
media platform and all that stuff, but that's not working.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't have anything for them at this point until they become a bit more aware of the other part of the client journey.
It's interesting what you said that they like their identity is attached maybe to the curriculum and or and that was part of your story is like my identity is attached to my work and if without it then who am I? So I don't know, what would you say to someone listening about that idea that which we're really conditioned to make work an identity in a lot of ways.
Oh, that was one of the deepest conditioning beliefs that I had, and that's why I think I'm so good at noticing it. Uh, it's just like what helped me, not just on the program level, but in life, is I had to zoom out and kind of address all the different areas of my life and be
Mm,
brutally honest with myself and ask for feedback from people like from friends, from family, from coworkers, from clients as well, just to see that in a way, the big one is like you're loved more than you will ever know.
mm,
And the love can be in many different shapes and forms, but when you see it from all these different directions and angles, then the business angle is just like, oh, it's just one thing.
I
There are so
love
many like different areas where you're getting that if you're open to it. And I wasn't open to it for the longest time because I was a robot, tech nerd, numbers nerd, and all that stuff. And it took like years for me to like open myself and
mm.
realize that.
Do you know in your process of being present with the feelings. Like, did you get a sense of where that came from? Like, was there something that happened in your younger life that had you decide if I'm just really good at work, then I'm okay?
Yeah, from family conditioning.
Like, work was
Because
just a high value in your family, or?
yeah, because I'm coming from a part of Croatia where it's normal for, mentality to be, hey, if you work hard, if you keep your head down, then maybe you are gonna be okay. You're not gonna be great, you're not gonna be the best, but maybe you're gonna
Yeah.
have a chance at normal life. And my parents didn't stand a chance because they were conditioned by their parents and all that stuff. But they were open enough for us to get worldly experiences and start traveling
Mhm.
since we were kids. And that helped me have more of a like open mind and start questioning things. And that's why, when I discovered the world of online marketing, global mentors, I started like opening up to questions like, okay, why should I be limited while others can do all these amazing and great things? And I also had a great partner. She helped me in like 5 years when we were together because she was NLP coach. So I don't know, she did some like crazy
Okay.
magic on me. And she
Uh-huh.
like she opened me up a bit. So yeah, I have to give her credit. We're still great friends by this day. But yeah, she helped me
Amazing.
open up and accelerate this journey by a lot.
I relate to so much of what you're saying. I grew up in a small town, which was a, very similar mentality. It was a mining community, so everybody
Okay.
works at the mines, and yeah, you just work, and maybe you'll get seen and promoted at some point. Um, and then it's interesting. The thing I've never said this before, so you're helping me like connect some dots.
Nice.
There was a season during, so I was doing this event called Shift the Field Live during COVID that I did maybe 5, 6 times online, a Zoom event. And I had a pretty solid team and we were working really well together. And one of the breakthroughs I had that happened kind of before everything slowed down in my business was around realizing how loved I was.
Hmm.
And so I'm finding this really fascinating because that really did start to change my results somehow. Not in a positive way necessarily, but I trust positive in the long run. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
So it's really, I just remember because we practice tuning into our magic on the team. And one of my team members, Julie, said she gets things in visions that come through sometimes. And she said, "Oh, God gave me a vision for you, and it's all about how loved you are." And it opened this whole season of really paying attention to all the little ways that
Hmm.
people were loving me. And anyway, it made me totally change everything, but a similar transformation. So I feel curious. Anyone who's watching, if you've had a similar experience, let us know. I'm curious if this is a trend.
Maybe something happened in a way that it was protecting you because it gave you, awareness about being loved from all these different areas just before you're about to get this like difficult transformation and change to make it easier for you
Mm,
because it wasn't just about business, but like, okay, you are supported, you'll get through this
yeah,
because everybody is here for you.
yeah. I think I'm really experiencing people being here for me in a lot deeper way in this season. So, and I've had to ask,
Oh
which is
yeah. Oh
maybe
yeah.
you have that too.
Oh yeah. Oh, I like I had to ask. I had to learn how to ask for anything because I was always self-reliant. I was always, okay, I can do it. I can carry the burden and I can do all these things on my own. And this is now how reciprocity works. And then someone told me, you know, if you don't know how to receive, you are actually turning down the other person and their good intention.
Mm,
So basically, you have to learn that way too. Even if you're trying to help and just
yes.
Yeah.
Hopefully people are writing this down.
Yeah, that was something unexpected that I didn't think I would be
Uh,
sharing about this, but this was really like one of the deepest things for me that I really had to kind of lower my guard and learn how to be. I think it's about being vulnerable.
yeah.
It's about, yeah, it's about letting every like all that love and all that care in without feeling that you owe it back,
Mhm.
because then it becomes conditional and it kind of messes up the frequency and the idea of it.
Yes. Wow. I'm thinking of your clients who maybe have their identity wrapped up in their curriculum or their offer or however it's been working, and how vulnerable and receptive they will have to be to like let you in to look at it and make it better.
That's why we start with small steps.
Mhm.
I've learned that sometimes it's better maybe just to kind of take, okay, maybe let's look at this one area and just see where it may kind of block your people. Where can we get like great feedback from your audience? Because how I turn them back to their audience. And I ask them, hey, maybe just asking your clients about how they are and what's happening with them and kind of get positive feedback. I'm looking for them to get positive feedback because they forget about that. They get wrapped into the business, in the strategies, and now, the launches aren't working. Okay, we have to do something, so we are back in the mental stuff. And then
Yeah.
turning back into their clients and just getting feedback and some mini research, or I don't know, reactivation sequence of the segment of clients that like weren't contacted for the long time. And then they get the positive feedback and people just like remind them what's at the core of their business, and it becomes easier. And then they open up. So
Mm.
this is
Yeah.
the back door in a way.
Mm. I love that. And so their clients are letting them know they're loved.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that's it. That's it. It's a full circle. We
Great.
are spreading the love all around.
Oh, great. Oh, okay. So tell me how people can work with you. We have your free gift.
Oh yeah, I've
Um,
put together like the opener. I call it the win-win strategies, just to show people
mhm.
that they can help clients get better results, but at the same time they can, make money as a business in an ethical way. Because when we talk to people about, oh, do you have upsells, or how do you keep your clients? Do you resell to them? Sometimes people, because they didn't have great results, they have a block to it. But there is always like the ethical way of keeping people in your world and helping them longer. So that's why I've put together the win-win strategies, guys, a guide as a first step. Guys, if that resonates with you, then the next step would be for us to chat and see how can I support you and help your transformation easier.
Love it. All right. So we're going to put that in the show notes, the win-win strategies. And I want to read the whole title. Win-win strategy, unlock an extra 30K in revenue from your current clients while up-leveling their program experience and retention.
Yeah.
So that's very compelling. I love it. Philip, when you were in this 10-day process, 10-day, 10-week, the
10
present
week, 10 week. Oh, I
10-week
wish it was 10 day.
process.
It was 10 weeks of excruciating pain.
Well, here's what I believe. We all end up there one way or another if
Yeah.
we're on the path of personal development, right? Whether something happens in our life to cause the excruciating pain that makes us pay attention to how we really feel, or it happens through a guided process. Um, yeah, what do you want to share about that? Just if someone's listening and maybe they are in the let me fix my mindset so I can hurry up
Mhm.
and make more money or something like that. Look good. Um, what would be your words of wisdom?
It's not the mindset. So the thing is, if what we were sharing today, if they resonate, if they're like visionary business owners who are just like, okay, yes, I can feel, I would do the personal development, but I don't dig deeper into my feelings and emotions.
Mhm.
That's like the surface mindset. exercises, meditations are not gonna do the work because I tried it for years. And for them just to kind of open up the door and see what's inside would be the great first step in terms of just like letting what are the feelings that are coming out and be prepared. They can be intense, but it's really worth it. And if like the present process resonates with you about like what I was sharing, just like the process is there for a reason and it takes 10 weeks for a reason. It's not like, okay, in and out in a week. It kind of slowly
Right.
opens you up, and every week you have a different mantra for a reason. And then if you are dedicated to it, I was looking at it, okay, what do I have to lose? It's like 2 times a day, 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the evening. I can
Mm,
find that, especially if I feel that I'm
yeah.
not really well with myself, I can give it a shot at least for the first, I don't know, 2 weeks. And just to stay open to stuff
Yeah.
shifting, but not with the mind shifting here.
Yeah. Yeah. I think of it as like this solid knowing of who you are.
Mhm.
Thank you so much for agreeing to be a guest. Thank you for asking and sharing your wisdom and your brilliance. Anything you want to leave people with?
No, I think we shared more than enough, and I just want to say thanks for having me again. This was really unexpected in a way that I shared some like deeper stuff. I thought we were gonna stay, yeah, activation magic, all that stuff, but we are gonna stay on the surface level, but we dug really deep, and I love those conversations. So thanks for
Yeah.
enabling me to have a platform to share this.
You're welcome. All right, y'all, get on Philip's list. We'll put the link in the show notes. Let us know if you like this episode, share with a friend, especially if you know someone who has a program and maybe they're tired of playing the marketing game to get more leads and they really want to feel good about what they're delivering. Make that connection. Philip, I will see you soon in
Oh
real
yeah.
life. So I'm
See you in
excited about
Colombia.
that.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes. Thank you for who you are in the world. Thanks everyone for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye, everyone.